What up, YouTube? I just got done eating my one meal for the day, and I feel great. Uh, Actually, I feel better than great because I think that it started to hit me about maybe a week ago. I mean, I've been kind of feeling this the whole way, but I mean, and then really last night, today, the day before that, this is when it really hit me. I cured GERD, GERD. I cured it. I fixed that problem, and so I guess I should first tell you how I got GERD and how I know I got GERD. Uh, so um, I was actually supposed to go for the ER for this, but I didn't know that at the time. Only after looking extensively at information online. Okay, let me get to it. When I first came to Vietnam, I was eating vegan, but then I started dating a girl who wasn't vegan, and so uh, that that is the reason. That is the reason that I stopped being a vegan for almost. Well, we'll just say many months. Okay, there was a number of months that I stopped being vegan. Not not like both feet in. I'm just ravenously eating meat and dairy and I didn't eat any cheese. I ate meat sometimes, maybe once or twice a week. Um, uh, and I put because in Vietnam they put sweetened condensed milk in coffee. So I was doing that. I found a vegan way to do that, by the way. You just use coconut cream and a sweetener, and it creates the same consistency. Actually, it's more delicious than what they do here, in in my view. Especially now, I'll tell you another story about that later. So uh, I was intermittent fasting anyway, so I'm still fasting or pseudo fasting. I had like I was just lazy as fuck, and I'd given myself like a 6 to 8 hour window to eat. And in my view, that's not really fasting, but I was trying to pretend it was to make myself feel better. I was doing, excuse me, I was doing a lot of rationalization, and that comes from, hey, if you date a girl, and you're willing to just throw your veganism to the wind, you can rationalize anything at that point. So yeah, and I was dating her, and basically, yeah, I'm back to MGTOW. So I really learned my lesson this time. I mean, it was really stupid. I remember when I first came here. I'll venture first into MGTOW and I'll get to GERD. When I first got here, I was like, I'm gonna give women one more chance. Pff, dumb as fucking. Just a handful of blue pills just dumped down my. It was retarded. I tried it. I fucked up my life. Okay, and I'm just fixing it. So I mean, my life has been amazing the whole time, but I did do really fucked up. Like, so yeah. Um, ooh, I made a spicy kind of soup. Coconut cream, tomatoes, and rosemary, basil. I put some bok choy in it. Anyway, okay. I'm trying to get to my point here. I was fasting, and codeine, by the way, and I'm not endorsing this. I'm just telling you the story that I did, or that I have. So codeine, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a derivative of opium. It's in the same family as hydrocodone, or you might know it by its pharmaceutical name, Vicodin. It's the same as oxycodone or oxy, the same as morphine or heroin, but it's in pill form and it's much weaker than all of the above. So, but nonetheless, it's pharmaceutically known as Tylenol 3 most of the time, or some analogy, minus the APAP. Sometimes they use paracetamol over here. So I got addicted to that, and I was like popping. Actually, I wasn't popping the pill. They have a effervescent, so I got addicted to. And when I say addicted, it's like the weakest. I'm the weakest addict you've you've ever met. I manage it so that if I get to like basically what do you call it? It's always beeping. When I would get to clinical, is it clinical dosage? Basically the dosage that they say on the box, like not to exceed. I scale myself down, but and I'm not taking it for pain. I'm taking it because it feels good. So I'm like taking this effervescent, but the way that I'm doing it is I'm like pounding a few, like I do one effervescent in the morning, and I drink that, and so, but I'm fasting, and it's the almond raw protocol, so I eat at night. This goes on for a long time. Eventually, I'm under a lot of stress from this girl, and she's just doing the art of war, right? You know, that thing where it's like, never let your enemy rest, and da da da, you know, and this is what's really fucked up. This is how I, like, drove home MGTOW hard this time, because I, like, gave her just, I just was like, here, I just want to share myself with you. Like, I'm giving love a second chance. Like, this is, you know, I went MGTOW, I took the red pill. I'm gonna throw all that shit out for you, and I'm all that baggage, and I'm just going to try it, just like they said, you know. And so that's what I did, and you know, it turned into just she just playing with my emotions, playing with my head, just fucked with me to a maximal degree. What a surprise, right? And I wasn't even trying to. Oh, I don't even. Anyway, yeah. So that happened. So my stress level is really high from her, and so eventually I notice I'm like coughing at work, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I just feel like there's something fucked up going on. Mind you, I've never had heartburn in my life, so I have no idea what the fuck heartburn is. I had heartburn, and it was getting increasingly bad day by day. Um, so I'm like still popping these fucking things every morning. I mean, it was literally like one dose every morning, maybe another dose in the evening. The most I've ever done is 3 in a day. So, and if you want to know the exact dosage because you're an alchemist or something, 30 milligrams. They're 30 milligrams doses with 500 milligrams of paracetamol. So that's what I was doing, and at most it was 3, but you know, the point is, they say don't take this on a fucking empty stomach, and I'm like, no, I'm fasting, I'm gonna do this. So, eventually, my stool starts coming out kind of black, and then eventually there's just full on like blood, just blood, tons of blood. I'm just shitting blood at some point, and so yeah, that was horrifying. But I wake up the next morning after just dumping my guts out, somewhat literally, and I pop another pill. And in that day, I had to go home early. I felt like, just imagine that. So I like ride a motorbike, right? Imagine you're riding your motorbike to and from work, and Darth Vader is behind you, strangling you, just force choking the shit out of you. Like, that's how it feels. And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm gonna die. Like going, I'm like, I have heartburn. Like, I'm like trying to like suck down some kind of gel. I have no idea what the fuck I just got because they don't speak English and I don't speak Vietnamese. So I'm like trying to tell them like heartburn or something. None of this matters. I I I don't remember how I figured out that well, yeah, I'm bleeding on the my esophagus is fucking bleeding, and it's bleeding so profusely that I'm shitting blood, right? So this was all horrifying, and I'm figuring this out slowly. I'm like, I gotta kick this fucking pill thing. This must have happened 5 months ago. Um, and I remember at least just, I mean, after this, every single day, even after I quit, the pills, just choking all the time, choking, just ravenous. I can't think about anything. I can't think about anything else except how much pain I'm in, how much I'm suffering, how I feel like I'm being choked by, call it whatever you want. I mean, it felt karmic, like maybe I did something like wrong. It all connects now. But yeah, I kicked the veganism, right? But so uh, I took those blue pills and kicked veganism. Yeah, that's bad karma. But yeah, I did this pill thing, and I mean, this went on every single day, just feeling like I'm fucking choking to death, just all day long. Go to work, choking. I remember by the third week, I started to get thoughts of suicide. Um, Maybe it was much sooner than that. I had just a feeling like I want someone to put me out of my misery. So you can imagine it was really bad um, when when you start having those kinds of thoughts. Um, yeah. So uh, this carries on and off, and I'm like, every single day, I spend at least half my day on the internet looking for ways to fix this. I end up going to the doctors, and I never go to the fucking doctors. That's just not my thing. Like, I'm always fucking healthy. I'm the dude that you knew that never went to the doctor and never got sick and never had any medical issues ever. I've never even broken a bone. My body has been running on optimal condition since the day I was fucking born. Even when I am fucking up, even when I'm like blitzed out of my mind, drunk and on 900 different drugs, I'm still the one having a conversation with a cop and reassuring him that, yeah, everything's okay and there's no problem. I'm that guy. Like, that's been my life. Just, you can't fuck me up. And this fucked me up. So, um, I went to the doctor, and they gave me heartburn medicine. And so I took that. He said, do this for 2 weeks. If it doesn't fix it, he's like, we know you have GERD. Did you swallow anything, like a chicken bone or something? We know you have GERD. Here's the medicine for heartburn. Come back in 2 weeks or something. And so I take this for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, then I realize, okay, yeah, I still want to die. Nothing's really changed for me. That medicine helped this much. Uh, Sometimes it seemed to help a lot, but it wasn't going the fuck away. It's still just choking, fucking choking, Darth Vader following me around. And so I'm looking online, and I find a dude. Shit, I can't even remember who this is. I can't even remember who this is, but whatever. If you YouTube it, you'll find the guy. But basically, he says that the that actually heartburn medicine will make your heartburn worse, and that's not what you should do. And all those foods that they say not to eat, you should eat. And I'm like, this is insane, but I'll try anything because I'm thinking about fucking killing myself. So, yeah, so my solution will be, basically what he says is that heartburn is more or less caused by, um, what's that thing that makes yeast? Yeast? I think it's yeast. Please go look it up if you want to know. Um, but essentially, excuse me, I ate a lot of food. An entire can of tomatoes, an entire can of coconut cream, and then a bunch of bok choy. Yeah, and like I said in another video, there's just huge amounts of fat and calories in this. So he says basically you want to kill that yeast. So what you need to do is eat certain foods, and they should be high acidity, because what GERD actually is it's not that you have too much acid, it's that you have too little acid. And because of that, it's causing your fucking stomach, your stomach is like spasming and freaking out, and it just opens that valve, and it's like sputtering and just squirting fucking acid out. Because it's just fucked up. It's fucked up. It can't deal with everything that's in there, and it's trying. So it's terrible. So what you need to do is you need to raise the acidity in your gut. And so I like buy some apple cider vinegar, which I was told is just, I mean, people say it's just kind of a cure-all kind of thing, and I'm like, whatever, give me any pseudoscience bullshit you have to peddle, I'll try it all, and so I'm like drinking tons of coffee. It's like they say, if you have GERD, just know you cannot have coffee. Do not, whatever you do, don't drink coffee. Even the doctor, he's like, don't drink coffee. Don't do that. That'll make everything worse. Yeah, and he's like, I got plenty of GERD patients here who they have it, and they keep taking the medicine, but they can't fix it because they're addicted to coffee. You gotta quit the coffee. And I'm like, and then I hear this guy, and he's like, drink all the coffee you can. And I'm like, okay, I know who I'm listening to. So, but it's not really, I'm not a contrarian. It actually does genuinely come from the fact that we know much of the pharmaceutical industry and the hospital industrial complex does want to keep you hooked on their drugs. They don't want you healthy. They want you paying them. So I'm like, all right, I'll try the other things. If it doesn't work, I'll take the fucking medicine, whatever. So yeah, man, this video is long. I'm trying to go through this. So months later, it's getting better and better and better. And I'm just noticing, wow, I feel like I'm fixing this. It's still a problem. And I'm, in my mind, for the whole time, I'm thinking this will always be a problem. I always will feel like I'm being choked. And I will commit suicide at some point for sure. It's just inevitable in my future. And I'm like, and I was just, I mean, for months I was making peace with that, to be honest. And, yeah, I just kept eating, fasting. I've been fasting. I remember fasting for 2 days was really, it just felt like weird shit was going on. When I fasted for 2 days, it was like something just happened. And I'm like, whatever. And I like started eating vegan. Again, just 100% vegan. Because at this time, I was still making allowances, like still hanging on to the relationship a little bit. And through that, she's like, oh, we gotta go get chicken once a week or something. And it's like, and so I just cut all that. I'm like, no, fuck you, bitch. Like, I'm done. This is bad for my karma. It's bad for me. It's bad for the animals, and it's bad for you. I'm not doing it anymore. And that's all in my head. I don't say that to her. You don't say that. So, yeah, unless you want to fight, and I don't want to fight with her. So, but that's what I do, and it's where I'm ready to go if she wants to bring it up. So, yeah, and so many, many months later, sometimes I still, but not lately, a little choking feeling, but not lately. In the past few days, I haven't felt it at all, and before that, it was just sparingly,
So it's just been, it's done. You know, I fixed GERD on a plant-based whole foods diet mixed with intermittent fasting and some acidic kinds of foods. Um, so I feel back on top of the world. I've always felt on top of the world, but I feel back on top of the world after that low drop. And it serves me right. There are two things that you should never do. Quit being a vegan is the first one. And if you aren't a vegan, you should go vegan. And the other one is compromise your values for a woman. Never do that. These are bad things, and they're bad for your karma. They're bad for your health. They're bad for your relationships, and they're bad for you spiritually. So, yeah, that's my story. I did want to talk about one other thing. Shoot, I'll talk about it in the next video. Okay. Um, Nothing tastes better than karma, and I want to add a different one. Maybe I'm going to start saying this instead. It's from the Bible. I just love this passage. Uh, the mercy of the wicked is cruelty, and to remind you why we say that is because they say they can humanely slaughter. I say the mercy of the wicked is cruelty.